All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everyone doing today? That was a pause for effect of somebody answering. Either way, it's good to be back. I'm a little late today. It's like well in the afternoon for me, but we are going to do my next assignment. This is a fourth grade Wayne Thiebaud assignment. So if you've been following along, Wayne Thiebaud, spelled Thiebaud, Thiebaud, is a pop artist, an American pop artist. He actually used to work for Walt Disney. He's done some Mickey Mouse things, but he's considered a pop artist because he got really popular with doing cakes and like um, pies and ice creams. That's not why he's a pop artist because he got popular, but he would do pop culture references and do pictures of cakes and three-dimensional cupcakes and stuff. But either way, I really like him, and we've done some of his lessons in the past couple of days. So if you've been following along, or if you didn't follow along and you want to go back, I've got a second grade lesson with ice cream that has to do with value scale, and it's done with oil pastels. And so we get a blend. You have tints and shades, and we talk about like stacking. And then in third grade, we still do value, and we've got tints and shades, and then we also have three colors, and it's more of a three-dimensionality. Now, once I move on to fourth grade, we just do a three-dimensionality cake, and I let the kids, kind of have fun with coloring it. Excuse me, coloring it however they want, and they don't have to do value scale. Now, I've got an example over here. Now this is going to be kind of hard. Mr. Griffin, like I said, I do large cakes. I do large. Most of my art projects are large. So this is one of the examples that I use for my fourth graders, and it's a three-dimensional cake with a cake stand, and everybody has to have three layers, and they have to have some type of cake topper. And I let the kids kind of explore it. We do this on a blue piece of paper. Now, you could do it on a white piece of paper. You could do it on whatever colored piece of paper. I like the blue. It kind of helps fill in the whole oil pastels thing. But we use like a baby blue piece of paper. They color it in. They still have to get it solid, and then we cut it out and we glue it to a black piece of paper. So there was one example. Shout out to Miss Twyla. She's the one who did that flamingo. Mr. Griffin's example is actually not as intricate as hers. She really tries to outdo me most of the times, and she does a great job. But this is what I show my fourth graders, and I say you can put whatever you would like on top of your cake. We talk about different designs. We talk about different elements that you could do, drips, curves, and stuff like that. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get this started. I also have an example that's already finished, and I'll show you how to color it. I'm not going to be able to cut it out and glue it to a black piece of paper. You don't have to. You can easily just leave it like this, do it however you want. But this is an example that we're going to do. But I want to go ahead and show you how to do this. Now, I'm going to do another shout out to Mark Kistler. Mark Kistler is the artist that I probably learned this from. Now, you can also find these cakes all over the internet of art teachers do different things. But there's a book called Draw Squad that my mom had. I had way back in the 80s. He had a PBS show. He still is doing videos online right now during the lunch hour, which is kind of fun. But he taught me how to draw three dimensionals. So I'm going to be basing it around his design. So I want everyone to be able to do three layers of cake and a cake stand. So we're going to focus on that. Every year I have one or two fourth graders that try to do more. I'm fine with that. I just tell them each cake that you do, you need to decorate it in your own way. And it still needs a cake topper and needs decorations on all of them. The minimum, you have to do three layers. That's all I care about. And so it kind of like gives some dynamics looking. It looks three-dimensional. So let's start up kind of a top. Leave room for the topper just so you would know if you want to put anything. I've seen people try to do bride and groom, a carrot cake or whatnot. But start off the way Mark Kistler had showed us, and you do basically two little dots about how big you want your cake. Now this one's going to be a little bit smaller. That's okay. So I started off with two dots that are across from each other. You are going to curve backwards and you are going to curve forwards. So I start off by curving backwards, connecting those dots. I'm turning my paper sideways so I can see my other dot. So I curve backwards, and then once I hit those dots, I'm going to curve forwards. Now, I sometimes have fun with my fourth graders at this point, and I say, does anybody know what this shape is? A lot of people will say, it's an oval. I say, no, it's an ellipse. Now, fun little fact, an ellipse is basically a circle that has been tilted away from you. The outside stays the same as the circle, but as it tilts, it creates more of an oval. So you're only seeing part of the top of the cake. Now, a cake is actually circular, but since we're not looking straight on, it's tilted, you're only going to see an ellipse. So after you do that, you're going to go from the outside edge of your ellipse, and we're going to try to angle it down. You don't have to angle it like we did for our cupcake. You can go straight down, but it's kind of fun to do a slight angle. Now, once you get to a certain point, you need to be even when you come down. And these are our next 2 points. You don't have to do the ellipse backwards because it's a cake. You can't see through it. But you do have to do the ellipse, the curve, the contour line of our cake coming forward. So you have that like here. So now we've got our first little cake. Now, how to make a second layer? You start right where the second ellipse ended, right where the point was, and you need to scoot to the left, go straight over to the left, put a little dot. You need to scoot to the right, and you need to put a little dot. And now we have the same kind of distance, and now we need a little bit of, did you hear that? Now you need to curve behind. So watch, I'm going to curve behind the top of my cake. Whoop! I'm going to go, now don't go through your cake. Curve behind and then come back behind and connect to your dot. Okay. Once you connect to your dot, now we need to start going forward, the forward ellipse. Do not drag it way too far. It'll look like your cake is droopy. So you just kind of curve, kind of focus on the same curve, and you're going to curve forward, curve forward like here. Okay. Now it looks like a hat. I get that every year. It's like, oh, you made a top hat. Well, that's one way to draw a top hat if you want to. But we're not just doing a top hat. We're doing a cake. So next layer, we're going to take the edge. Now, as you notice, I don't have a lot of piece of paper. So I like to tell my students, you can angle your edges of the cake in a little bit more. And it actually magically gives you more room to make your cake. So I'm going to actually kind of slant it in just a little bit. Now, if you want to get crazy with it and slant it in a lot, it'll look like it's super, super tall, which is really fun. Okay, make sure you come down to right about the same level again. I think Mr. Griffin was a little bit further. Once you have that point, you're going to do your ellipse. Can't go backwards because you can't see through your cake. So I'm going to curve forward. Now I'm drawing really sketchy. I wish I was able to be confident and just draw one solid line. Mr. Griffin doesn't. He draws like sketchy lines. If you draw sketchy lines, it obviously does not matter. I can tell that this cake looks like it's shifted. I could fix it by making the top go back a little bit more, or I could fix it by making this cake come up a little bit more. Either way, I could also just leave it and call it good. This is a fourth grade assignment, so I fixed it a little bit. I was having some issues, but these are my next 2 points. Third cake, I scoot to the left. I scoot to the right. I'm going to curve behind. I'm going to curve behind. Kind of make that as the same pattern, and then you need to curve forward. Curve forward. My ellipse is a little wonky. All right, last line. I don't have a lot of room, so my third layer of my cake is not going to be as thick because we still have to do a cake stand. So I want to show you how to do the cake stand as well. So here's my third layer. I don't have much room at all for my cake stand, guys. I ran out of room. I should have went up a little bit higher, and that's okay. So if you didn't have room for the cake stand, don't worry about it. We still leave it a little bit. Same technique. Scoot to the left, scoot to the right. Obviously, you don't have to go as far. I curve behind. I curve behind. I want this to be my glass top. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually come down straight first. I'm going to curve down straight first. I'm going to tilt it just so you guys can see what I'm doing because I know I'm on the edge. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down. Now, you're going to come forward. Now, whenever you get forward in front of your cake, maybe you want to like draw lighter. Since this is going to be kind of glass, you might not want to see as much. And then watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to curve around. Now, if I had room, which I don't because Mr. Griffin didn't leave enough room, I would try to go to the edge and I'd kind of pull this down as if it was a table, a glass cake stand. So I don't know if you guys can see this, so I'll just kind of continue on with that on my piece of paper. So that's my cake stand, and then you always, always, always have to give it surface. So you have to give it a straight line that goes behind your cake. Now, real quick, I want to show you what I did on the other side again. So this is kind of what I was talking about. You give a little cake stand, and you give surface. Now, here comes the fun part. You get to decorate your cake. You can decorate your cake with all sorts of techniques. Think, though, when you are decorating your cake, how am I going to make these decorations look three-dimensional? So I'm going to show you how to make one of these like Hershey Kisses little designs. I might try to make a little circle. This is like a little bell shape, so I kind of have a wedding cake. And I have a bow that actually falls off the edge. Look how I did this. I actually came out in Mark Kistler's language, I came out in like direction 3 and then I come straight down. So I kind of come out in direction 1 and then come straight down. So they talked about that on how you're going to make it come forward at an angle instead of just coming straight. Because if I just did a line straight and then straight, it would just look like it was not actually three-dimensional. So angles are always really good for drawing three-dimensional. But let's go ahead and look back to here. Let's make this a carrot cake. This will be kind of fun. So a carrot cake, you could draw your carrot cake standing upright. I'm going to draw my carrot sideways. So I'm going to start off with a carrot, like just a line going off. And my line then is going to go back off in this direction. And then once it's here, I'm going to do a little curve. Because this is going to be my contour line for my carrot. Now, if you're drawing your carrot through a line, you're going to have to erase that. And you got to think, I'm going to draw a contour line so my carrot has lines that go around it. And then, honestly, you can have fun with what kind of leafy green thing you want to have on your carrot. If I wanted to have something like that. So I could have like a little stalk. My carrot's not as centered as I'd like, but this is going to be a carrot cake. Now, if you wanted to, and you wanted to have a drip, you got to think that it kind of goes over the edge. So whenever you're drawing something over the edge, and then it kind of comes down, and I have it coming down. You could have it coming down and then go back up. If it's coming up, maybe I wanted to have 2 little drips that time. I have found that whenever you're doing drips, if you're wanting to make something look more realistic, do a variety of drips. Don't just go loop-de-loop-de-loop. They don't look like drips. Okay? So there's some drip ones. If you want to do the Hershey Kiss designs, I start off by knowing that the Hershey Kiss is going to be like a curve where it comes out. It comes out away. It's going to come towards us. This is like the ellipse of our cake. It's coming towards us. I have these little lips and these curves that come out. And whenever you get to the edge, you just need to curve out and around. Now, you got to create the arch, the Hershey Kiss. So what? If it's on the edge, I go to the farthest point, and I kind of come up, and I come to the corner. Now, we'll erase all these other things, but then you just kind of like make a little zigzag. And the three-dimensionality of it is from that curve that we did first. Really, all I'm doing is this little zigzag. Now, you got to be careful with here, because once again, this is the furthest point. So I kind of like have to like have it go up and come like that. Now, once I have that, you can erase, maybe with a green eraser so you can see it. Guys, I love these assignments. I don't make the kids all follow me. I don't make it super, super hard. I try to put lots of varieties on the cake so they can have different designs on there. And they get to choose their own. Here's a fun one that you could do. If you pretend this is the center of the cake, now watch, I just did like a little dot in the center of this cake. Now what I'm going to do, from this dot, I'm going to, on the bottom cake, I'm going to draw lines that kind of come out from the center of the cake. They have to touch that point and they kind of come out. So I'm going to draw these lines and they're going to continue on. So watch, as I kind of come on, the line is coming. I'm drawing these lines. I'm just talking to myself. Um, I'm drawing these lines from the center of the cake. I try to want it to look straight. And then we're going to go all the way around my cake. Okay. Now, the next thing is I'm going to have the cake pattern, and they're just going to go straight down. So my cake is going to be sliced, or it can be different colors when you want to color it. When you get done to coloring it, but you do straight down on the edge of the cake. So that kind of helps with the three-dimensionality carrot cake. You could add other little things, little doodads, little swoop-de-doops. You know what a swoop-de-doop is, don't you? If you don't, that's okay. I don't really either. But you do little whoop-de-doops or oop-de-loops or whatever, and draw these little circles and go all the way around it, doing these possible patterns, zigzags. I don't know. I'm going to just do a straight. You can have fun with it, please. Don't worry about like my simple designs. Uh, I recommend always. I showed kids you can do stars. I'm not even pointing. Stars, circles, zigzags, drips, lines, zigzag. You can be like fancy Miss Twyla, where she actually kind of did waves. She did the whole beach scene kind of thing with these waves. I want you to have fun with it. Now, once you have it, color it however you want. Now, I might start coloring this a little bit, but since we're at 17 minutes, I'm probably not going to make you guys follow along. I make this in oil pastels, and so once again, I've been using oil pastels, and you can just pick somewhere and get started and do some really fun designs of oil pastels. If you want to add blend colors, I don't make any of my fourth graders blend colors. Now, some of you might say, but Mr. Griffin, you made the third graders and second graders. Yes, I did. But that doesn't mean I have to make all the fourth graders do it either. Basically, I'm teaching them a new technique. I'm letting them use oil pastels, but the main assignment is to draw 3 dimensions. I really want them to focus on drawing in 3 dimensions on this lesson. If you've learned in third and in second grade how to blend and make values, then I always have those super duper students that go above and beyond and want to start creating shadows. Every now and then, some kids just ask me, how do I make this look more 3 dimensional with shadows or something? And they add different shadows and they blend the colors. So there's no right or wrong way to blend this or color this. Now, what I'm doing right now is what I call a color safari. If you don't know what a color safari is I've got a yellow oil pastel in my hand. And so I'm going to look at my cake and I'm going to see and pick everywhere that needs to be yellow and I'm going to color it yellow. Now, I always have those kids that start with one layer and they color all their cake from one layer to another layer. And I say, please do a color safari. Think about what you might want your cake to be. Now, I might put too much yellow on here right now because I'm like, I wonder what I want my cake to be. And I think I already decided that I want the top to be yellow. Probably shouldn't have, but there's no right or wrongs right now. I'm just kind of decorating. I'm going to make my bow a different color. Guys, I love to color. I think if you've been paying attention to my videos, I've probably said that a few times. It's very therapeutic to me. I think in this time of trouble and quarantine, and hopefully you guys are all still staying safe. Hopefully you guys are all listening and staying in isolation and staying. Oopsie daisy, that happens all the time. I get very heavy-handed. Hopefully you guys are all listening and staying indoors and not getting too cooped up or cabin fever, as they say. I know I am, but I try my best to find the good in it. And the good is that I get to do these little videos for you all. Even if there's one or two people that watch it, I'm doing it for you guys. I'm doing it for all my students. I love them all, and I miss them. And so there's some. I've got yellow on each layer now. I'm going to continue on coloring this. I'll make this my thumbnail again because I'm really enjoying it. And hopefully you guys will be able to see it later. All right. I love you all. Be safe. Wash your hands and come back for another video. It's Thursday my time. All right. Bye-bye.